Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the 5 Stories the mainstream media refused to report to you. We're going to start today with an Orwellian story out of the UK. The police commissioner of the West Midlands in the UK says police officers will break up family Christmas dinners and holiday gatherings if people break COVID-19 lockdown rules. And what are those rules? Well, the West Midlands are currently subject to Tier 2 restrictions, which means people aren't allowed to see anybody outside their own household. So literally, if you go visit your parents for Christmas, police might come break up your Christmas dinner. But did the mainstream media report on this? No, because the mainstream media is in the pocket of the left, and the American left is doing just about the same thing here in California. Speaking of COVID-19 lockdowns, a new study from the London School for Hygiene and Tropical Medicine found that the UK's 10 p.m. curfews and their small group gathering restrictions had essentially no impact on the transmission of the COVID-19 virus. In fact, a report from early October revealed that the UK government's own science advisors predicted beforehand that these draconian mandates would not help. Yet, the government imposed them on the people anyway. But did the mainstream media report this to you? No. The mainstream media was silent. After the second and final presidential debate, Google searches for "Can I change my vote?" spiked, according to Google Trends. 62 million Americans had already cast their ballots prior to the debate. But can you actually change your vote if you regret who you voted for? According to many state laws, yes. New York, Florida, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Washington, Mississippi, Idaho, Arkansas, Delaware, New Hampshire, and Connecticut all have provisions that allow certain voters in certain circumstances to change their vote. Check with your state to see how to do it. But did the mainstream media report this? Nope. The mainstream media probably doesn't want you to know that you can sometimes change your vote. Following the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court, Democrats are claiming that her appointment and subsequent confirmation were illegitimate and unprecedented because it happened during a presidential election year. However, looking at the history of our country, it is actually not unprecedented. In fact, 29 times in election years, presidents have nominated Supreme Court justices to fill vacancies on the bench. The Senate did not always approve the nominees, but all 29 times the president nominated, and when the Senate was held by the same party, the vast majority of the time the Senate confirmed the president's nominee, just like Amy Coney Barrett. But did the mainstream media report the facts to you? No, the mainstream media did not. In the wake of the Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots across our nation, the government-mandated COVID-19 lockdowns, and the defund the police movement from the left, the murder rate in the United States is dramatically rising. We've seen a 42% increase in Atlanta, 41% increase in Philadelphia, 38% increase in Oakland, 30% increase in Miami, a 25% increase in Los Angeles, and a 20% increase in Dallas. But did the mainstream media report the devastating impacts of the leftist violence and the leftist policies on people in our nation? Nope. The mainstream media said nothing. Since the mainstream media refuses to report any of that to you, I will.